In the 13th century, when the world still held its ancient secrets, the steppes of Mongolia birthed not only the greatest empire mankind would ever know, but awakened something primordial in the fabric of existence itself. The grandson of Genghis Khan, Batu, heir to an empire stretching from the Pacific shores to the Caspian Sea, discovered what his grandfather had only glimpsed. The ancient shamans of the high plateau had learned to pierce the veil between our world and the elemental realm. In their blood-sealed rituals beneath vast starlit skies, they forged bonds with forces dormant since creation. Fire danced at the command of the Khan's chosen warriors, their arrows trailing solar fury as they blackened skies above terrified cities. Earth benders collapsed mighty walls with a gesture, while wind callers summoned storms that drove enemy cavalry into chaos. Water speakers parted raging rivers, turning nature's barriers into pathways for the unstoppable Mongol advance. But the elements were merely the beginning. As the Mongol horde pressed westward into Europe in 1241, something stirred in the ancient forests of the Carpathians, something that had slumbered since before human memory. The disturbance in the elemental balance awakened the firstborn, the great worms, elemental dragons who had retreated from the world of men millennia ago. At the Battle of Mohi, as King Bela's Hungarian forces faced annihilation, the skies darkened not with arrows, but with scaled wings. A great crimson dragon, Kovarak, ancient fire lord of the eastern mountains, descended upon the battlefield. The earth trembled beneath its massive claws as it unleashed infernal breath upon friend and foe alike. The Mongol shamans recognized this creature not as enemy, but kin, a manifestation of the very forces they had learned to harness. While common soldiers fled in terror, Batu's elite fire-bearers approached the beast with ancient words of binding. What followed was not battle, but communion. The dragon lowered its massive horned head, and Arben, most powerful of the fire shamans, placed his hand upon its burning scales. A pact was formed in that moment, the first alliance between human and dragon in 10,000 years. As news of this unholy alliance spread, Europe trembled. Pope Gregory dispatched his secret order of elemental templars, while Byzantine alchemists unveiled their own sleeping guardians, the crystalline frostworms of the north, and the spectral phoenixes long hidden beneath Constantinople. In the forest of Poland, Earthspeaker Kadan, son of the great Ogadai, found himself surrounded by European knights blessed with relics of saints. As their consecrated blades pierced his elemental shields, the ground beneath them shattered. From the depths rose Zelrugal, the great earth dragon, its body formed of living stone and ancient roots. Knights and horses were swept away like leaves in a storm, as Kadan forged his own draconic bond. For months, a war unlike any in history raged across Eastern Europe. Dragons soared above Mongol cavalry, while European cities unveiled their own mythic guardians. Griffins and wyverns, basilisks and chimeras, creatures of legend pressed into desperate service. In the skies above Silesia, dragons clashed in elemental fury, fire against ice, earth against wind, while below, armies fought with steel and courage and increasingly desperate sorcery. The very fabric of reality strained as primal forces once again walked among mortals. Then came the message that changed destiny. Ogadai Khan, emperor of all Mongols, was dead. As succession disputes erupted across the vast empire, Batu faced an impossible choice. Political necessity demanded his return to Karakorum, but the dragons had awakened a hunger for conquest beyond human ambition. What history records as a simple withdrawal of Mongol forces was in truth something far more complex. The pact between shamans and dragons could not be unmade. As the human armies turned eastward, many of the great worms refused to return to slumber. Some followed their bonded riders back to the steppes, where they established eyries in the Altai Mountains that stand to this day, hidden from modern eyes. Others, tasting freedom after millennia of dormancy, vanished into the wild places of Europe and Asia, explaining centuries of dragon sightings from Wales to China. The empire that followed, the largest contiguous realm in human history, was built not just on Mongol military brilliance, but on secrets of elemental mastery and draconic alliance that official chronicles dare not record. The Pax Mongolica that allowed trade and knowledge to flow across continents was guarded by forces beyond human comprehension. Even now, in the remote reaches of Mongolia and the forgotten valleys of the Carpathians, there are places where the veil between worlds remains thin, places where, on certain nights, the descendants of those first dragon-bonded shamans still perform ancient rituals beneath starlit skies. This is the true story of the elemental conquest, when humanity walked with dragons, commanded the primal forces of creation, and glimpsed, if only for a moment, the limitless power that sleeps within the blood and bone of our world.